I don't do distractions, and that's the reason I would have never bought the dude in. I wouldn't have bought him in for what he did at Cleveland, what he did then to Boston, what he did at Duke, then Cleveland, then Boston. Like everywhere he goes, he leaves a fire behind him. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis discuss the NBA Summer League, continuing coverage of NBA free agency, as well as WNBA news and notes. Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host and feeling much better, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner on the Wednesday tip, the Core J, to my Roxanne Perez in Team 2001 in NXT, the current NXT Tag Team Champions for the women's division, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, the world's got you moving and shaking, but how you holding up, brother?
I'm doing good, thank you. Trying, man, just trying.
Well, this Wind Up Wednesday edition, we're going to talk NBA free agency. We're going to talk NBA Summer League, and we're actually going to talk Summer League first. And we're always going to talk about the WNBA and All-Star Week. But first, Mike, Summer League is here, and shout out to Lamar Baird, who is in Viva Las Vegas, the official Odd Coaches Podcast correspondent and NBA scout guru. And one year, Mike, we got to do the Summer League because I like ball, and I would just sit in the gym all day and watch ball. But anyway, any general thoughts you have on Summer League, man? What are your thoughts on Summer League? I mean, the champions getting rings this year, and how would you use Summer League when you were coaching? Because I know how I feel about Summer League.
I would try to put my team in the worst situation possible in the games I knew we were going to win. Like I challenged our guys, and I did things we maybe not done in the regular season just to challenge guys. To me, it builds a little camaraderie. Plus, I might play all man-to-man in the summer, knowing I'm going to play zone when it comes down to it because I like to split both. And then – or I might put guys in different positions. And we work on it. And I always tell them it's a practice. And I don't want to win a Summer League championship as much as I want to win one regular season. Like I haven't, in our run at Ole Mill, three straight county championships, we may have won. I think we made it to like Summer League finals once, but that wasn't a goal. You know what I mean? That wasn't a goal.
Mike, they're getting championship rings.
Yeah, well.
What in the holiness of thou is that? So as a team, at the end of the year, after I met with our coaches and got our messages straight to players, how did you leave the season as a team? And how did you leave the season as a player? And then you ask the question for the returning players, what are you going to bring back? And you ask the questions for the new guys, what are you going to bring? And Summer League is the first taste of what we can do. And a lot of that comes from just watching them play. So we had some structures in the summer. We had some boundaries. We're going to run a sideline break, and we're going to do this and that. But, hey, Mike, you played 2 last year. I want you to play some 4 and see how you react to blah, blah, blah. And Fowler played point his sophomore year and 1 and 2 his junior year and played forward in college. I mean, we're just playing basketball. So I'm just baffled by all of this Summer League talk, and not just from the NBA. It's about getting better, man. It's about getting better. So let's talk about the 2022 draft class. Chet is all the rage. So this kid's played 3 or 4 games, and now he is the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki, and a combination of Kevin Durant, and combination of all of these people. What are your thoughts on Chet? Have you seen Chet? Or have you seen the highlights? Chet Holmgren's who we're talking about, fans.
Yeah, I've seen the highlights. I still think he's gonna get tossed around come regular season. I don't want to hear about that wiry strength and all that. We talking all the games this guy gonna have to play and what position and who he gonna guard. Like he's definitely yeah, he can block shots, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. This
He's
ain't
got some talent, man, and I'm
you ain't
looking forward to seeing his development. He's got a little talent,
you
so
ain't
it's
playing Oregon, my guy. You're not playing Oregon. You're not playing Purdue. You're not playing Seattle. You ain't playing UC Irvine. You ain't, you're not. No, no, no,
now he's
no.
got
Now, if I'm
talent.
wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be the first to admit, and I've never, ever, ever shied away from saying I'm wrong. But from what I see, I just don't. I know everybody said, "Oh, y'all start to sing about Durant." He is not Durant. Let's be honest. He is not Durant.
Well, he had 6 blocks in a summer league game.
Give him
All
the
right.
MVP now. What country is he from? See, he American, right?
Yeah,
So he'll never
Minnesota, if
be
I'm not
MVP. He'll
mistaken.
never be MVP. He got
Oh,
to be from a
now
foreign country, and he'll
stop
be
it,
MVP. Yeah, he'll be MVP if he was from outside the United States.
Belarus.
Yeah, yeah.
that's
All you
a
got
that's
to
a
do
Wimbledon joke. That's a Wimbledon
if
joke.
he got a relative anywhere, he gonna be NBA MVP.
All right. So I was watching some Orlando because Paulo Banchero and Caleb Houston, played for Orlando, and Banchero came into the NBA draft process billed as the most NBA ready person in the draft. Caleb Houston kind of is a long athletic forward, didn't have the best college career. Have you had a chance to see Banchero or Caleb Houston in terms of Orlando?
No, sir, I did not. But I mean, everybody talks about the Duke guys, but I'm on that. So.
He's a good player. He's a good player, and
So was Christian Laettner. So was who else? Who can we give you?
he's got
Talk
some good clay to work with. But
talk to
again,
me.
I'm going to pump my brakes a little bit. But he's got some talent. And Houston has Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, who was the 17th overall pick.
Mm,
Jabari Smith turned 19 less than 2 months before the draft, and he's going to need time to develop. But again, he's got good clay to develop.
mm.
He's going to be on the team in the fall. So again, just keep working. But have you seen? Because you've been quite busy. Did you see any Jabari Smith highlights?
Nah, I have not. Honestly, I have not.
On assignment, my friend. On assignment.
Yes, sir.
So we had Jaden Ivey make his debut with the Pistons, and he was pretty impressive. And when I'm looking at summer league, I'm looking at, okay, how does it fit what I want to do when we get everybody together? That's what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, ESPN, Fox, NBA TV, they got content to fill, so everybody's kind of going nuts. Benedict Mathurin from the Pacers, the 6th pick. He can shoot the three. Okay, that means when I get them all together, he can go in the corner, penetrate kick, he'll shoot the shot, get 5 to 7 shots. Hopefully, he'll make 2 to 3 of them, and now he's a contributor. That's kind of how I'm looking at summer league, because he ain't gonna get 30 shots like they getting in the summertime. And then Blazers rookie Shaden Sharp, who barely played last year, if at all, got a shoulder injury. So he's out the rest of the summer. So hopefully he can, just take some time, heal, get better, and see what happens. But a couple other guys I'm watching, Coach, just for my own personal entertainment. Jaden Hardy plays for the Mavericks. He was the G League Ignite guy. He was 37th pick. Josh Minot from the Timberwolves, 45th pick. And Scottie Pippen Jr. for the Lakers, undrafted. You think Scottie Jr. can make the Lakers? Because the Lakers ain't got no money to pay anybody else, so somebody's got to make the team.
I think he'll make it. I think that I think that he'll make it. I was able to see some highlights. I think he's a very versatile kind of kid. I think he might be 12, 13. I don't know, but I think he sticks. I think he sticks.
I don't think Shaq's done sticks though. I
Nah,
think he's got some areas of growth, as we
nah. I think
as we
he
like to
might
say.
he might be D League or bounce around to another team. But yeah.
It's G League, man. And stop
Oh,
calling Brooklyn, New Jersey, because we're about to talk about the Brooklyn Nets.
they're gonna always be the New Jersey Nets to me.
So if you're the Brooklyn Nets, how do you even handle this summer between Durant, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and just the usual off-season stuff you got to do? Man, how are you handling all of this, Mike?
You're not, but we talked about this before. You can't do all this. You can't prepare for all this madness. All you can do is not have a guy like that in your program, and that's me. We talk about distractions. How long we've been doing this? How long we've been friends? You know, my man, that's been the same thing. We've been in this business for 30 something years. I don't do distractions, and that's the reason I would have never bought the dude in. I wouldn't have bought him in for what he did at Cleveland, what he did in the Boston, what he did at Duke, then Cleveland, then Boston. Like everywhere he goes, he leaves a fire behind him. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. So why you even deal with the dude?
So are you trading Durant in the summer? Are
Yes.
you going to bring him back and say you're under contract and we've got a team that can win the East? Do we bring Kyrie back and try to deal him at the trade deadline, or you're just getting everybody out now? Because you're not going to get a ridiculous Rudy Gobert deal. What were they thinking? But you're not going to get that. I'm still shocked that they got it. And I looked, I was like, that's Rudy Gobert, right? That they traded for. So okay. All right. Well, will this pair work? Okay. Speaking of Rudy Gobert, in a league that's positionless and small ball is all over the place, the Minnesota Timberwolves said, no, we're going to get two giants, baby. We're going to get Rudy Gobert going on the other side of 30 and the best three-point shooting big man in the league, Karl Anthony Towns. And we're going to rock and roll. What do you think about can they play together in 2022, 2023 NBA?
Why not?
So you think it'll work?
I think it'll work.
Okay.
I think it'll work. But that don't mean they're gonna win a championship. We keep, I'm just, hey, I'm infatuated with winning. I ain't, all that other stuff doesn't seem important to me. I just gotta win. Does this put them over the top? No.
Then
So
why do it then if it's about winning?
Because that's what they do. I mean, they've been doing it forever. You know how they first round teamers are. Like somebody gotta be that one to sell the hopes and the dreams. You know how it is.
So you think as they are configured now, they're top 6 in the West? I'm asking.
Yeah, but that don't mean nothing.
They're configured now because top 6 in the West mean they're not in the play-in. So you would think they're not in the play-in now. They're top 6.
That's what we train players for. Getting the top 6.
I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, man, I just don't see them as top 3, which means they're 4, 5, or 6. So it's gonna be interesting with that.
I'm just worried about being top 2. That means I'm in the championship. That's all I'm saying. I ain't worried about nothing else. Everything else don't matter. Second place is first loser. That's what I say all the time.
Second place is the first loser. Okay.
Yep.
So to close this segment, another former Wizards revival. Free agent center Thomas Bryant has signed with your Los Angeles Lakers. Terms not released, but it's a 1-year veterans minimum. And if he follows the path of Gary Payton Jr. and Otto Porter, this might be a good move and a pickup for the Lakers. What do you think, sir? Is Thomas Bryant going to help the Lakers, especially with AD having some injuries, and now you got another big body up front?
Is Westbrook still there?
as of today, sir. As of today.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then
you got another big man. You play some defense, contain, challenge. Okay, fans, I couldn't sell my partner on Thomas Bryant, so I'm going to take this break and try to
Is
recalibrate.
this is this Kobe's cousin or something? I don't know.
All right, we'll be right back after this show break. Why I got to be Kobe's?
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. And in segment 2, we're really going to dive into individuals and their roles in terms of their team's free agency. And I'm starting off with Bradley Beal. First of all, Bradley Beal signed a no-trade clause. This gives Bill the opportunity to veto any and all trades during the life of the contract. This is like Bret Hart and creative freedom in his contract. And as Hulk Hogan once said, according to my contract with Billionaire Ted, I never lose. In other words, he's got to personally agree to any deal before the Wizards could move him should they want to. Bill's deal also includes a 15% trade kicker and a player option for the 5th season. In order to qualify for such a no-trade clause, a player has to be in the league at least 8 years and spend at least 4 of those seasons on his current franchise. Now, this is why I want to ask my partner his thoughts on it. Bill becomes the only current active player with a full no-trade clause and just the 10th player in NBA history. And here is the list of the other players who had that. LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, Carmelo Anthony, Kobe Bean Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and John Stockton. That's the company that he's in with this trade. With this contract and the no trade clause and the $250 some odd million. What do you think about Bradley Beal and his fast move to irrelevance? Because the Wizards still stink, and he does think they can win.
Win what?
He thinks they can win the NBA championship.
Summer League.
No, I saw him play last night. They were
I'm just wondering, he might be playing in the Summer League. Ain't played all year. Some of these dudes need to be in the Summer League. Ain't played all season. But I mean, that puts him in a category. I'm ain't but one name in there. I heard that. I mean, 2 names that I heard that they got rings. So
there's a couple. There's a couple who got
LeBron
rings.
and Kobe.
Let's see here.
LeBron
Kevin Garnett got a ring.
Okay, KG.
Dirk got a ring. Dwayne Wade got a ring.
I just still think Dirk's is a little tainted, but we'll go ahead.
Tim Duncan, David Robinson, they got rings.
All right.
Stockton,
delete everybody that don't have one on there. Put it that way.
Well, delete Melo. But anyway, all right. So let's talk about Dame Lillard, because Dame is like the West Coast Bradley Beal.
Speaking of not having rings. Speaking of not winning rings.
He's a star.
Ooh.
And he just signed. Dame Lillard's a star.
So is Michael Jackson, but that don't mean he can play in the NBA.
He agreed to a 2-year, $122 million contract extension that will tie him with the franchise to 26-27. Next year, he is going to pass Clyde Drexler as the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Portland Blazers franchise. Okay. The 6-time All-Star has already made $195 million as the franchise player over the past decade. and the new money will carry his earnings to over $450 million. Dame turns 32 July 15th. Hey, happy birthday this week. Um, but man, Portland is doesn't appear to be close to that title. Now they did trade for one of the Grant boys, and they got Shaden Sharp, who's a top 7 draft pick. What do you think, man? He doesn't want to leave.
I just told you. I don't care.
It's going to be cheap if he tries to go chase a ring. So he would rather go ringless and be with
and
this
make 165 million than getting a ring. Yeah, I understand.
Loyalty.
I'd rather have 10 million with a ring than 165 without. That's just me. That's me. I want to win.
Yes, I do want to win.
And if I can't live off 10 million, I don't need it anyway. You know what I mean?
Touche.
Can't buy no ring.
Speaking of buying a ring, somebody just took a discount, sir. James Harden re-signed with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year deal with a player option in the second season.
Bet he don't play 80 games between 2 years. Bet you don't.
Well, he took a $15 million pay cut from $47.3 million
Market.
so they can have more flexibility.
Time
so now, yeah, Kelly, clip that. Anyway,
I'm telling you, market.
Are the Sixers now with the financial flexibility, and I think they picked up PJ Tucker too. I think so. Top 3 coming into the preseason. What do you think? Eastern Conference.
Embiid is definitely top 3 players in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if the rest of his team is. That does make them one of the best teams, but they got.
We're not talking about Tobias Harris enough.
I don't think we are, but he still has a little bit more to show. Like I like Tobias Harris, but come on, we got to get it. Like right now, he just above. He's just below the boy Trey down in Atlanta. Okay. Because Trey can really, really fill it up. Not that Tobias can't. That's just not his role in Philly. But at some point, Tobias going to have to step up to be that number 2. Like he's got, for Philadelphia to win, Tobias has to be better than James Harden consistently. And James Harden has to play all season at the level that James Harden played when he was scoring points in Houston, which we ain't going to see, right? Probably, chances are, but because of the injury. But if those 2 things happen, then yes, Philly becomes the best team in the East, hands down. Because Milwaukee can't guard. They can't guard. They can't guard Embiid if those 2 are doing as well as they are. They can't. And Boston can't guard him either. Like he changes the game. Neither one of them can guard him. If the other 2 guys are playing at the top level, it's over. Philly owns the East if that happens.
All right. So Zion. Zion Williamson signed his extension worth $193 million over 5 years, and it could jump to $231 million if he hits the escalator clauses by making all NBA and so forth. Deal does not include a player option, but Mike, when Zion's played, he's played very well. He just hadn't played a lot. So I think he's played something like 80 games in 3 years, something like that. But New Orleans has got Brandon Ingram, got a bunch of other players. Almost, made some noise in the postseason, got close to it or what have you. And Zion's back, and he's back for the long haul. Top 6 in the West, New Orleans Pelicans.
Come on, man. Stop.
Zion.
What about him?
He's a number 1 pick. He's been a transformative player. He's got Brandon Ingram and a couple of guys I can't remember right now, but they did well. CJ McCollum. There we go. CJ.
Okay.
Okay. Just 6, 7, 8. All just playing.
Show me. Because we got a show. Yeah. Show me. That's it. I just don't. I can't. I'm of the mindset they should have got rid of him. I'm of the mindset they should have got rid of him a long time ago. Like the guy, the pattern is there. Like it's not changing. My dad used to say, "Only thing after one is two. Only thing after two is three."
All
So,
right.
so at some point,
Well, speaking of teams in the West, the journey is the reward. Memphis Grizzlies guard John Concher uh, once only had one offer coming out of high school. He was undrafted out of Purdue Fort Wayne, has agreed to a 3-year, $19 million contract extension. The extension takes him, who has 2 seasons left on his contract, through the 26-27 season. These are the kind of signings that I like to see. So he's one of the league's top recent development stories. He's 26. He sees his career earnings climb to 30 million with the new deal. He's transformed himself into a great, wait for it, Mike, rotation player. Okay. The Grizzlies roster has a bunch of guys that work hard and are very quiet outside of those 2 guys, Ja and whoever else is messing around with Klay Thompson. I forgot the other dude's name. So he shot 41% on threes and 51% overall, 18 minutes a game. So after arriving undrafted, he started off with the G League, found his way on the Grizzlies. So these are those roster guys, because it's 82 games and the stars aren't playing, and Ja, he didn't play a whole season either. But if you remember, Grizzlies kept winning when he was out because they got a bunch of guys like this that fit a role. Okay. So any thoughts on the Grizzlies quietly becoming, man, they were tough last year, and they're putting their pieces together now. What do you think?
And this puts them where?
So they were the second best team in the West last year, according to record, and made
Behind your Denver team. Behind your Denver team.
I don't know who was number 1 last year. And 0.5 is on vacation.
Behind your Denver Nuggets.
Michael Porter Jr. is coming back, baby. And they got the 2-time champ, man. 2-time MVP. I ain't mad at Jokic. He should have won. Well, anyway.
You want the MVP or you want the championship? You want to be Jokic
I want
right
the championship.
Or you want to be Curry
give me,
or Draymond? Everybody talk bad about Draymond.
Draymond, man.
Thank you.
Draymond about to make that money outside of this.
Thank you.
He's about to make money in perpetuity. All right. So I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying that, Mike. But to close this segment, the New Orleans Pelicans guard Devontae Graham was arrested in Raleigh, North Carolina last week, charged with driving while impaired. He is a Raleigh native and was arrested around 3 a.m. And local record says that was the charge. He just completed his first season with New Orleans, playing his first 3 years with Charlotte. He attended school in Charlotte. But folks, can we stay out of trouble in the offseason?
No,
man. Come on, man. What are we doing? Get a ride. Mike, the offseason makes me worried, man. Offseason makes me worried. I'd rather have everybody in Vegas in the summer league. At least I know where you are. They're fooling around. All right, with that, fans, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk WNBA. We're going to talk the All-Star. We're going to talk their All-Star Saturday afternoon, because it sure wasn't All-Star Saturday night. And I got a couple of bones to pick, and I hope my partner keeps me from going crazy. We'll be right back on the I Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler and Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, it's all WNBA. So at the All-Star break, number 1 team, according to my rankings, Chicago Sky, and my partner called that. They're playing really well. 2, Aces, they've stumbled. 3, the Connecticut Sun. 4, the Seattle Storm, and they're going to keep going up. And 5 are the Mystics. And if I'm the Mystics, I'm a little irritated with the rest of the league. So quiet, keep your head down, and get to that postseason. On the outside looking in, the Sparks are playing much better. The Atlanta Dream, the New York Liberty, and the Dallas Wings. Mike, those seem to be the 9 teams, and the other 3, we can't do nothing with them, that are going to, compete for those playoff spots. Games of the week this coming Friday. Connecticut plays Atlanta. And on Sunday, Minnesota comes to town to play Washington. Okay.
And
all right. Well, might check it out, might not.
You know who? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It's those are the games of the week.
I'm going to definitely see. I'm definitely going to check out. I want to see Skylar Diggins.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see her. I do want to see this week. I want to catch up with what's the girl's name? Oh man, I forgot her name. The lady retiring. She's retiring. Is it not Sue Bird? Sue Bird. Yeah. I want to catch Sue Bird again before she leave. I don't think people ever give her enough credit for how good she is. I think she went under the radar a little bit.
All right. We do have extended Brittany Griner updates this week. So the team WNBA star Brittany Griner, she did plead guilty to bringing hashish oil into Russia, telling a judge she had done so inadvertently. The move is not expected to end her trial in Russia. And from there, the State Department issued a statement saying that they will continue to work for Briner's release. The State Department spokesperson said that she's eating well, she's able to read books, and under the circumstances, she's doing as well as expected. The White House press secretary said Griner's guilty plea will have no impact on any negotiations. U.S. Officials and Russian experts described the trial as political theater, with a guilty verdict seen as a foregone conclusion. The Russian response. The Russian deputy foreign minister warned that attempts by the American side to make noise in public don't help practical settlement of issues. Experts have said any deal to release Griner would almost certainly require admission of guilt. But again, Russia warned that U.S. criticism makes it difficult to engage in detailed discussion of any possible exchanges. Mike, as I have said, I'm a historian, and history tells you there's a certain way to do business. And this has been a little more noisy than I would like for it to be. It doesn't make anything go faster. And I'm just praying that she does eat well. She is taken care of to the best of the situation, and that we in the future, because this is that point for me, put our women's players in a position that they don't have to leave. They can choose to leave moving forward, but they don't have to leave. That's where I hope to get to with this. But again, this is real, and I said it when it happened in February. Mike, and you were like, what? It's like, it just ain't like anything else. So any thoughts before I go on a rant about the WNBA All-Star Weekend?
No, I don't want to say I mean, there's two things I want to say, and I don't like how everybody's comparing this, and of course, the guy who gets the most blame for everything is LeBron. And if it was LeBron, he wouldn't still be over there. And honestly, if it was LeBron, he probably wouldn't have had hashish oil in his bag. No offense. Um, yeah, I'm just like, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't wish this on nobody, but when you break the law, things happen. Right, unfortunately, she might have forgot. I understand that. It's people every day at the airport that forget that they have guns in their bag. So, is it forgetting? Is it not? They say she make $220,000 here, so she had to go play overseas. I don't make $220,000. You know, I'm just a
Hmm.
teacher. So,
They
me,
pay us that way.
huh? Exactly. I would like to make 220,000 just to live in the United States. So these are all the views I heard all week. So all the things and some of the things I did catch up. I wish her the best. I think that it's going to involve an exchange of some kind. Unfortunately, if the United States is willing to do that, and I hope she gets back here safely, and this ends quickly.
That's all we can hope for. But now, Mike, what was that? I have, and we're taping before the All Star game itself, fan. So it's a little NFL going on with us right now in terms of the events about to take place. And but I did see the All Star game skills competition, and I text you all week saying I can't wait to see this. We're in the plans in the midst of moving myself personally, and my wife is like, "Why are you screaming?" I'm excited about the skills competition. So when the skills competition is about to come on, first of all, they bumped it for Wimbledon men's doubles finals. So the WNBA All Star Skills Competition was on ESPNU. So that was a problem for me. And then I turn on the game, the contest, and I see a bunch of AAU players, Mike. Now, again, what are we doing? This is me. I was excited about it. We've covered the WNBA all season. I got to see some AAU players. I want to see that. And then they played Mike at a convention center. And I don't know if the public was invited. So I'm already kind of, my wind's out. So then they have the skills challenge. The skills challenge had 8 teams consisting of one WNBA player and one athlete from the EYBL participating at the 2022 Nike Nationals. I want to see that. Okay. The teams competed head to head in the obstacle course. Now, I've never been a big fan of the skills competition, but I guess you got to have something. So, they go through the cones and they throw the chest pass and then they sprint down, make a layup, and then they sprint down, shoot a three. Yay. Y'all could do something else, but okay. Sabrina Onescu's team won with a youth player, Zoe Brooks, who committed to NC State. Okay. So then the Coupe de Gracie, which got me out of my feet and got me out of my seat. I love 3-point contests. Any shooting contest you want to do, I'm going to watch. And Allie quickly balled out. And that story should have led Sports Center, should be all over the place. And it's just not as out as I would want it to be. So she won the event for the 4th time. Okay. She won the event in Chicago. She grew up in Joliet, Illinois. Blues Brothers. I love that movie. Played at DePaul. Okay, probably the last good DePaul play. She won the competition in 2017, 2018, 2021. Her teammates was there cheering her on, including her wife and fellow guard Courtney Vandersloot, Candace Parker. Give me a teammate like Candace Parker. She wore a jersey. She was all over the place cheering. So I don't know if you saw any of it, but I'm disappointed because of all of those things I just mentioned. But again, shout out to Allie Quigley, who was bottoming out shots. And my prediction, Kelsey Plum didn't even make it to the final. She threw up a lot of houses, man. She was building. She was Bob the Builder this weekend.
It was good. No, I think it's going to be. I mean, I think it introduces that. We talk about that player at the Nationals. I think it introduces them to a bigger stage early. Like this is how they're going to grow the game. And that's where I look at it as making the teams with like someone at the Nike Summit. Correct? Is that what you said?
Nike
Nike,
Hoop something was going
yeah,
on
the
at the
Hoot
time,
Summit.
and it's the EYBL league.
Right. So I think this introduces them to that. And I think this is the way they're going to use it to grow the game. If we can get used to the names, like we talk about the stories, if we can get the names now instead of after their senior year, like, and unfortunately in the women's game, we don't find out about a lot of these players until they're in the final four of the women's tournament.
Hmm.
Unless it's South Carolina, unless it's Maryland, unless it's like the top five teams, then you know their names, like Stanford, Oregon, you know their names. I mean, Baylor, you know the names, but you don't know everyone else's. So this allows you to get to know people a little earlier. So I think that's
So,
the way they're going to grow the game.
well, before I talk about the All Star Game special rules and everything with that, most of the basketball world is where right now, Mike? They're in Las Vegas, Nevada
They're in
for the
Vegas.
NBA Summer League. Would you have a problem if the WNBA, again, all of this is pre planned, moved everything to Vegas too? There's enough venues, and now it's everybody's there instead of having it in Chicago where they're kind of fighting for the audience. Because, I mean, again, the NBA Summer League was on ESPN, ESPN2, NBA TV. So I'm watching the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons Summer League on the major network, and I had to find the WNBA All Star Challenge on ESPNU because of the Wimbledon doubles men's final.
After you competing, man, that's what happens. Like people want to watch Wimbledon, and the summer league is growing. So
Summer League
unfortunately,
is growing really well.
I mean, just it's growing. It started out as a side gym thing with summer league, and now they're filling the arenas. You know what I mean?
Dylan,
They're filling the arenas for summer league. You can't get mad at the NBA. You just got to figure out how the WNBA is going to grow it, and it has to be opposite of what they're doing. So I think they're taking the right approach in the
okay.
WNBA, but
Well, let
uh,
me
I
get
don't
your
know if
thoughts.
everything should be there. I think if you put everything there, you
Okay.
outshine like you do. You shadow it. You can't do that. You don't want to put it in the shadow.
All right. So the All Star Game special rules. Now, the outcome of the game has already taken place, but I wanted to tell fans and I wanted to get my partner's thoughts on the actual rules that they're using. So they got three special rules for the All Star Game. There's going to be a 4 point shot with four circles, two at each end of the court, above the 3 point line with a distance of 28 feet from the rim. What about a 4 point shot? You like that, Mike?
It sounds MTV-ish to me.
Okay. Any basket made by a player who has contact with one of those circles will get 4 points. The shot clock will be 20 seconds instead of 24, but
Hmm,
the reset after the offensive rebound will remain at 14. What
hmm.
do you think about that?
It's the All Star game. If you got shot clock problems in the All Star game, then you don't have any All Stars.
All right. How about this one? Automatic points will be given for free throws rather than players actually shooting.
Keep the game going. Okay. With the hoop group, baby. You remember the hoop group?
I was
One
about to
point,
say.
one shot. Come on now. Shout out Rob Kennedy. 1 point, one shot.
Okay.
Bob Mackey.
And finally, the only time players will physically attempt a free throw will be during the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and during overtime periods. So, what do you think about that? Hoop
Again,
Group Summer League.
hoop group rules, baby. Hoop group elite. Hoop group elite
Oh,
rules. 1 point, one shot. No foul. Shots,
let's keep it moving.
points,
On
and
court seven,
yes,
outside is hot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Roll it through, but
Court seven, court seven rules. They got court seven rules,
because
man.
nobody's watching the game anymore.
Duh.
Ain't no
yeah,
scouts in the NBA West game
yeah,
on
yeah,
court seven.
yeah. No shit. No
Okay.
shit.
All right.
It's
Shout
8
out
o'clock.
again.
It's a 9 o'clock NBA West game on court 11 and shit. What's outside? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
On
Court
the
7.
tennis
Yeah,
courts or something like that.
court 7. Yeah. Ain't nobody like, nah. Ain't
All
nobody
right.
coming to court 7.
Sorry, fans, for our trip down Hoop Group memory lane, but that's how long we've known each other. So, on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I am Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and/or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.